Hello YouTube, Mortician Man 24, aka Eugene Johnson. This is a contest entry for my buddy Marko, the movie fan. And thanks man for the shout out. I really appreciate it, and the link to my channel on your video. I really appreciate it. But anyway, today's question for the contest was best sexploitation and exploitation movies. Well, I don't have many with me right now. I have quite a few, but they're lent out to a good friend of mine, and he's enjoying them as we speak. But the ones I do have, I only have one, but I can give you examples of some of the best and some of the worst, because I've seen a ton of them. But anyway, the first one here is, of course, Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. I don't know if you consider this really exploitation or not, but it's got one scene in it where the lead character Alex actually breaks into, cons a couple into letting them in the house, and he beats the main guy that owns the house. He beats him, kicks him in the stomach, meanwhile rapes his wife basically in front of him. That was a very shocking scene when I first seen it, and I mean, this is basically how the whole movie goes. It basically redefines the term anarchy. I mean, he's constantly going around beating people. He's in a gang. He doesn't care about civilization at all. He's a very dark character, but I really do love the movie. Stanley Kubrick did an awesome job directing. I mean, you can definitely tell his style from any other director. The Shining, for example, great movie. But, yeah, that's A Clockwork Orange, basically. And the second one that I really enjoy is a film called Savage Streets, starring Linda Blair. Linda Blair's sister is raped and beaten and killed by 5 thugs, I guess you'd say, and they're, constantly, harassing the group of teenagers, and eventually, they kill another member of Linda Blair's friends, so she takes revenge on each one of them, and it's a very good, classic 80s exploitation flick. The third one would have to be The Last House on the Left, the 70s version, not the remake. But the remake is okay, I do have to admit, but it's not as good as the original. But this story also follows a group of people, and one of them has just broken out of prison, and his little brother, no, it's not his little brother, it's his son, actually, he's sitting on the street, and 2 high school girls basically want them to, want him to score them some weed, and so he's like, yeah, you just meet me at my motel, and so they take off, and then and there, after she enters the motel, both of them are held captive, took out in a secluded area, beat, raped, both of them's eventually killed. But little did they know that when the thugs, go out to try to find a house to stay low in after they kill the 2 girls, that the house is actually the parents of one of the girls. And the parents, get bloody revenge, I mean, in many ways. I'll give you one scene, for example. Try not to be too graphic. But in one scene, the mother of one of the girls, the mother of the main character, I guess you'd say, is outside with one of the thugs, and she goes down on her knees, to do whatever, and she bites it off. This part made me cringe every time that it happens, and that scene's only in the 70s version, and very graphic, very, just ugh. Um, and the next one would have to be I Spit on Your Grave, aka Day of the Woman. This movie is horrible in so many ways. I mean, this poor woman is, is writing a novel, and she goes to a country house to write her novel. And again, a group of men see her at a gas station, and they decide to break in on her. Again, they take this poor woman out in the woods and rape her all day, and rape her that night, beat her, punch her, kick her, everything. But she decides to also get revenge in horrible, disgusting ways. And I'll give you another graphic scene. One scene, they're sitting in the bathtub, the woman and one of the perpetrators, because she has now convinced the group of guys that she actually enjoyed them doing that to her, so she could get her revenge. They're sitting in the bathtub, and you see her pick up a knife and put it in the tub. She castrates him right there. You don't actually see it, but you see the blood squirting up in the tub, and it's like it's on bubbles, the white bubbles. Very gruesome scene. And there's another sexploitation movie that I had that I have to find again. I probably lent it out to the same friend. But it's called The Babysitter. It was made in the 60s, very taboo movie. The girl's like 15, 16 years old, and she's basically having sex with the 30 or 40-year-old guy. And like I said, it was very taboo when it came out. There was an 18-year-old actress who was portraying the character, but still, they had nudity, and it was one of the very few films back in the 60s that allowed full frontal nudity at that time. And it got a lot of talk about it. But, I mean, there was talk about George Romero's, Night of the Living Dead in 1968, but this film was drugged through, the mud many, many times. It's a very, very, graphic movie. But I also had that movie, and the movie that I think is the most disgusting exploitation movie that I've ever seen in my entire life is a film called Cannibal Holocaust. Oh, I mean, it's very, 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 very graphic movie. What it is basically a group of reporters go to an island, and they run into the natives there, and they, mess with the natives, beat up a couple of the young native boys, rape a couple of the native women, and, they just basically set their huts and stuff on fire and things like that. Well, the group of natives get pissed off and decide to take revenge on the group. So you see, and you actually see it in this movie. If you got the unrated DVD, I got the unrated DVD. I rented it in Colorado about 4 years ago, and you actually see it, castrations, rapes, beheadings, and then after they do that to the American, people, reporters that are there, you see them sitting down, roasting them, and eating them. It's a very disturbing movie. I mean, but if you're into that kind of thing, by all means, check it out. For what it's worth, it's a very good, well-made movie. But it's been banned in many countries. It's been, black flagged on a lot of lists. The only way you can get it now, well, since things have changed, this is the first time I've ever seen it was 4 years ago, but things have definitely changed, and you can get it on DVD now, unrated, and it's very, very graphic. Also, I don't know if this would be considered exploitation or not, but the films that I used to watch years ago, and don't ask me why I should have been watching these things, because I shouldn't have, but I was about 9 or 10 years old, and there was 2 sets of movies, series, like I should say. There was a series, and they were called Faces of Death and Traces of Death. And these films basically, well, some of it's fake, then again, some of it's not. For example, one real part in the movie was there used to be a political running person named R. Bud Dwyer, and he went in front of live news group and committed suicide right there in front of everybody. Shot himself on live film, and it was broadcast, but some of the TV companies didn't show it, but that's basically what he did, and that's one of the scenes in Traces of Death. Faces of Death, on the other hand, you can tell some of the stuff is made up, and then some other stuff is not. There's a scene in Faces of Death, I believe, where a group is sitting at a table, and they take hammers, and they get a little chipukin or something. I can't remember the exact name of the monkey, the species of the monkey, but they put it in the table. Capuchin, that's it, a capuchin monkey. They put it in the middle of the table, and they take their hammers and beat the monkey until it's dead, and they cut the top off of the monkey skull and eat the brains right there in front of the camera. Very disgusting. But anyway, those are my exploitation and sexploitation movies. I hope that you enjoy this video, Marko. And like I said, I really appreciate the shout out. I'm glad to see that you're doing well today, and always glad to see that you're doing well. And but I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoy the video. Keep it horror.